All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What's What BR. Today we have a very special guest, familiar face, and someone that probably we all know. We have Todd Graves with us today. Todd, how are you?
Great. Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you making some time for us. You got tell everybody you got more important things to do than sit around and talk to me. So,
No, I appreciate you talking about the show. I'm really proud of it, and exposure for the Poor Boy Lloyd's Taylor family is really great. So we appreciate it.
absolutely. So diving in because for time's sake, for anybody who doesn't know, you came up with this concept, restaurant recovery. Like, you're in the restaurant business and helping other people in the restaurant business. It reminds me of, Zig Ziglar. He used to say you can have everything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want first. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of my belief on things. But how did this come to fruition? What made you want to, jump in here?
Well, when the pandemic started, throughout it, Raising Cane sales actually went up because we have drive-throughs, right? So drive-through business, people that were normally going to these independent, family-owned restaurants like Poor Boy Lloyd's started, because of COVID, there was all the restrictions. You couldn't do dine-in. And so they came to Cane's and they went through the drive-through. We got busy, but that didn't feel really good because those extra sales we were getting was because we're taking it from these independent, these mom and pops, these restaurants that are true gems and important to our neighborhoods and communities, just like Poor Boy Lloyd's. They were suffering, suffering bad. And I was looking at it and seeing this, and I just, I said, we got to do something about it. And so we tried different things at Cane's. We bought a bunch of gift cards for restaurants, and you can redeem later. I got on social media, talked about support small business. The chains are okay. We're okay. It's the independents that need help. But, it was my co-CEO's idea that came to me, AJ Kumaran. He said, Todd, you've done TV before. You had that Secret Millionaire years ago. And like that helped to show the good people's work down in Plaquemines Parish. I saw what that did when people saw it. They actually sent money down to those folks and to help them with their great causes. And so I'm like, this is a great way to do it. And, we hired, a production company and rolled into it and picked restaurants in 10 different cities, all where there's Cane's markets, because I could use my Cane's people to help out. And plus I could go see my restaurants, real busy time filming and traveling. And I just wanted to give back. I just wanted to pay it forward because we've been so fortunate, and their dreams are just as important as mine.
Yeah, no, I think that it's hard sometimes. And depending on the business where you're at, when over the last year, we've seen so many people struggle. And then for those of us that have done, well, it's almost, you don't want to talk about it. It's like, hey, how can I help you? Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about what can we do to help. So for anybody who doesn't know, Poor Boy Lloyd's has been around. It's like it's the oldest restaurant downtown, pretty much. You've probably been there and didn't know it.
Exactly. You have been there at some point. You've been there. And look, it's my office is downtown. It's Raising Cane's headquarters. So I'm there all the time. And, we go down to Poor Boy Lloyd's. And, it's like I take the family there. I take my daughter from St. James and we walk down when she gets out of school. I have those great memories. The family works there, works hard. Fred's always up front. After you get your good Cajun meal, bam, he pops that peppermint on the counter. And you can't recreate that. That restaurant has a soul because of that family, And if they go out of business, it's going to be replaced with another chain. And we don't need any more of those.
No, and that's, I was talking to somebody, a business partner of mine. He said he goes in, like every, Saturday. It's like that's his breakfast, and he's there every morning. But he's like, Fred's out there, waiting tables. That's true. You've said it over the years. I've heard you say it. And on the title, was it fry, cook, cashier? It's as entrepreneurs and small business owners, I like the quote, people say, no one knows true fear like an entrepreneur the night before payroll.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that, and I know exactly what that feels like, though. I'm going to borrow that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, sayings. Used to have it on the wall, but guys like Fred, you guys were able to come in there, like literally you've scaled to 500 plus locations and be able to take all of that and like just dump it down and say, Fred, watch, here's how we can do this. And done with all these other restaurants, across town. And even, I think it aired, I caught a bit of it, but also had some big names coming in there with you, right? We had Shaquille O'Neal shows up, out of the blue, huh?
Yeah, I mean, how great is that? Shaq and I are friends, and it was an easy ask and an immediate yes. The only thing bigger than Shaq and his stardom and everything about him is just his heart, and he's genuinely cares about people and is willing to lend a hand always. And since he's in Atlanta, and so since it's Fort Boy Lloyd's in downtown Baton Rouge, he's like, I'm coming. So think about it. The guy came down here, flew down here, and came in to do it. And what was interesting about Shaq is, it's great to have Shaq in Baton Rouge. I can't think of somebody more loved and popular and great to the city, right? Well, so it helped him coming in to see them. These people have been through a lot. So the Taylor family's like, whoa, immediately lifts your spirits. Shaquille's here to help us. But the best thing about Shaq is he's got a great business mind. He and I've talked business for years and years. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. Everything from like decades ago, we talk about his car washes that started. He's actually has a chicken restaurant in Vegas. I mean, he does business and we talk about it. So I knew his business mind would be great. So I'm like, telling the production crew, I'm like, wait till you see this. I'm like, I'm going to give Shaq, we talked on the phone, but I'm going to give him a 5-minute heads up and watch what he does and the questions he asks. So literally 5 minutes, Shaq, here's kind of situation. He goes in and he starts asking the family, okay, ding, ding, ding. And he's like, look, you're on top, but what did LSU have to do? Why'd they win the national championship? And they're like, wait, it said adjustments. You have to adjust. And so Coach Todd and I are going to go in and get some of these things for your playbook. But he said, did you market? He'd figure out this restaurant's never marketed because they never had to. It's everybody downtown, everything there. And they're like, Fred's like, no, man, we never marketed. He's like, we need to get you a serious marketing plan. He goes, Todd knows, the folks at Lamar and then, all the radio stations help. iHeartRadio came in real big, gave them, it's like a $25,000 package. Lamar gave billboards $20,000 across town. I mean, think of these, just this generosity, because Shaq's like, look, man, you got to adjust because overnight downtown just shut down. No one was working in the high-rise buildings. Nobody's at the Raising Cane's River Center for entertainment. There's no festivals. There's no late. There's no nothing. And just all of a sudden it died. What are these people supposed to do? I mean, like, who could have predicted that? They didn't make a modest living for the family, just getting by, and then all of a sudden you're done. So anyway, Shaq was able to identify some of that stuff, and he said something that stuck out in my head. He's like, not all marketing you have to pay for. And we talked about the Instagrammable moments and stuff. And so literally on the fly, got a great Baton Rouge artist, and then we created those crawfish wings for like a social media moment. They could stand in front of it. And it's on the side of Fort Boy Lloyd's, so the people walking down the levee and stuff can like see that, go take pictures. They hashtag it, Fort Boy Lloyd's. Anyway, some good things done there.
It's funny you talk the interesting, the little adjustments. I heard the short story, Tony Robbins, if you've heard the story, he talks about he was playing golf and just would just shank it every single time, and he had this instructor and couldn't get anywhere. And finally he's like, hits the ball and the instructor's like, you're almost there. He's like, I'm giving up. It's 100 miles in the woods. And the guy's like, no, you're just a millimeter off. He's like, what are you talking about? Do you not see it's 200 yards, the wrong direction? And he goes, the angle of the attack that you hit the ball, if you just adjust that, the trajectory completely changes when you just adjust that small little 1 millimeter change can completely send you on a whole nother path.
What a great analogy in life, right? That's interesting. I've never heard that.
And what I like about it is it's like, especially for everybody where they are now, like as crazy as it all could be, is just hell hitting the fan. You could literally be like 1 millimeter off, like one little change could completely change your life. And
it makes you go that far over, right?
So that's good to think when it's all hell's going crazy, or maybe just a millimeter off and it'll get better. But back to this, so you got this. How do people catch the show? It's on Discovery Plus, right?
Yeah, it's streaming right now on Discovery Plus, Restaurant Recovery. So we had to sign up. We didn't have it. I'm glad I did. I like it. It's got a bunch of good programs on it. The stuff you watch normally, but it's on there. It's not a plug for Discovery, but signing up, I actually went into, we've been using a lot, but Discovery Plus, but you have to type in the Restaurant Recovery. And it's good. And so look, it's the show is about showing what small business owners go through, but these are all small business restaurant owners, and it's my wheelhouse, right? But the same person owns a hardware store, the same person that started whatever it is, small business, right? Plumbing, whatever they're doing, it shows how hard they work, and it shows how much it means to them. It shows you their sacrifices they've done for these things. And then what I hope people will do is they'll see that and they remember, I need to go spend my dollars at the independents, the mom and pops, the family owned restaurants, because people like me with chains of 500 restaurants and 35,000 crew members on this, we got large marketing budgets. We got shiny new buildings. We have all those things that make you think constantly of Canes and coming through. And we work hard for it. And we do a good job, and we do that, and we earn our money. But we have an advantage. And so when you think of going, I do want you to come to Canes. But then you think, hey, then I'm hungry 2 days later. You know what? Let's go to my independent, and then let's go to my next independent. Let me go to the hardware shop. We have the advantage. And look, chains are about doing the same thing exceptionally well. These restaurants and small businesses in general, they have creativity, right? And they have different thought, and they make our communities better. And then they just have people that care, like Fred, that's sitting there on Saturday after he's worked all week, and he's going to be in there bussing tables and giving you a pepper when they go. We have to preserve these places, because they go, they don't come back.
No, and when I think, it's funny, if you go all the way back, to when I first started doing this show, I've described myself as, a serial entrepreneur to a fault, and too many times do I see people, or I'll ride down the road with friends, I'm right here in Baton Rouge as well, and you drive past a business, and I use the analogy, and I talk about this on one of the first couple episodes of the show. It's like you'll drive by, at night, and you'll be like, man, they are crushing it. And it's like, you might think that because they got a sign out front and it's lit up, and the business has been there, like Fred, forever, and you're like, yeah, he's probably crushing it. Everybody, every lawyer eats down there. Everybody does. But what you don't know is these guys are putting everything they got into it. And not just the restaurant guys. I've made a huge, I ruffled a couple of people's feathers, in the middle of COVID when I was doing the show. I was running around saying that, our healthcare workers, super important, first line, huge. But I've been small business owners are heroes too, in my book. That's who's employing, that's who can do it. Like you said, if we lose that restaurant, if Fred wasn't able to continue, when it just, like you said, evaporates. Everybody's got, business continuity plans and, disaster recovery plan. Nobody had a COVID plan. They probably didn't have a COVID plan.
No, we don't have a COVID plan. No, not at all. And how could you? And especially too, is like you said, people see it and they'll go downtown lunch. Wow, this place is packed, but they're not seeing it from 1:30 to then 6 and a little bit of a dinner rush, and then dead at night, dead on weekends. There's not coming in, just like anywhere else. And like restaurant business and generally small business people, the margins are so small. Like you can only charge a certain amount. So they are in my business as well, right? But I have high volume, but I have 500 of them, right? You have one restaurant, you don't make a lot of money. So I hear you, because people say, like, man, this place must be killing it. And I'm like, well, it's killing it on Friday night, when I'm out somewhere. But I'm like, have you seen the other times? I'm like, they should be making some decent income, but they're not killing it like you might think. And that's a really good point.
And I also talk, we work with, advertising, and companies. And like I said, you've got, big shiny buildings and marketing budgets and these kind of things. These guys, and what I treat, even our advertising, there is no budget. Like if you're truly, small business, guys like Fred don't have, I've got, $4,000 a month in my budget for marketing. It's like, no, that's the money you're going to spend on marketing. Are you going to spend it on marketing, or are you going to Orange Beach? Like, which one is it? That's what's going to happen.
That's right. I mean, am I going to go have a nice dinner on Sunday with my whole family, or am I going to spend money? That's exactly right. There's no budget, like you said. It's coming out of their pocket. And is it worth it or not?
That's, and that's what I think a lot of people don't realize, is how to support these guys is, it's going in, spending some money with them, spread the word around, don't love some Canes, but at the same time, there's the small hole in the walls. I've got, one of my hobbies is, when I'm not doing a day job, is I fly airplanes, and they've got a book called The $200 Cheeseburger. And it's all these hole in the wall places that you can fly, to, and you go find that little guy who's been in the corner. It's the Shaq, you basically spent $200 to go get yourself a hamburger by the time you got there.
But it's so worth it, right? It's so cool, right? And I just got to look the same way. I was doing business I was up in Memphis, and coming back, I'm like, Clarksdale. I'm going to the Crossroads, and I'm going to go have me some barbecue, right? And this is, classic restaurant's been around forever. It just has so much character, man. It's like, those are good memories and good things. But like at that Crossroads, if that restaurant ever goes out, it's going to come back. There's going to be a chain on the corner. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's good to support them, but you get so much out of them, man. They're just so classic.
Yeah, I think I know there's a couple of little places that I like to hit here in town. It's, like I said, we love Cane's. I can run in there, but I can't go to Cane's and be like, hey, can you make me a grilled cheese? It's like, yeah, I could, but I'm not. That's not what we do. But you can go to some of these places and it's like you get the off the menu, or like, hey, can you just make me something, that's completely different. And it's about the experience, right? From whether it be from Cane's, whether it be, Fred over at Poor Boy Lloyd's, it's overall experience, because we can all just sit at home and eat and we'll be perfectly fine. We're not going to die. But we want that experience, and you want to hear some of these stories. And guys like Fred, who can tell you story after story, he's been in the heart of downtown. And so I think it's amazing that you're able to take the time, as busy as you are running, like I said, what is it, 500 plus locations, and trying to keep up with all of it, to say, hey, we're going to go back, we're going to hire a crew, let's go find. You got a full series already done, of shows that people just need to go watch, and you're going to find the places that when your family comes into town that you want to take them to. That's what I would say. So
exactly. Well, it was a pleasure. You know what? Like when you give, you get back more than you gave, and that's the truth. And feeling good to help people and to help good people and all that, it makes me feel good. It makes my team proud, and so we're proud about it. So that also feel proud. Then it's going to come back in our business. We're going to be more happy. We're going to get more done. And then also on top of that, they're going to pay it forward. They will pay it forward. They'll help out people in any way they can. And so it's not wasted on them. It's a pay forward deal.
Absolutely. And it's awesome that it's right here in Baton Rouge, right out of the gate. So it only makes sense. So look, I always tell everybody they got more important things to do than sit around and talk to me. So I appreciate the time, even more so helping guys like Fred, pulling in some big names to get some big following, getting Shaq in there. I think there's some other big names, that I've seen that are going to be out there. So, but you got to watch, to follow up and keep up with it. So I appreciate everything you've done and what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Well, I encourage everybody to go out and go eat the new Poor Boy Lloyd's. It's made some good things to the place. You're still going to see the Taylor family there and have that great food. But downtown is still slow. It is. It's not back. And so if you can think about where you're going to go, and you can go somewhere tonight, this weekend, whatever, got free for lunch, go hit Poor Boy Lloyd's, just give them some business. Yeah, no, they'll appreciate it. And we can make a difference at the end of the day. If we just, you just got to get outside the normal box. Where are we going to go? Let's just go there. Let's try it and see what happens. So, right, 100%. All right, sir. Well, I appreciate the time. I'll let you run. It's fun. Let you come back sometime, tell us more of what's going on. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Great. Thank you. Bye.